Hey guys, and welcome back to the wonderful world of The Sims 4, where today we are building Cinderella's castle, or at least we're starting to. I don't think I get to the interior at all, really, in this video. I think I show a little bit of where I start the layout, but not very much. Anyway, though, the layout will probably change whenever I actually start doing the interior and putting in furniture, because that's usually how I build anyway, so... not much of the interior is going to be shown, but the exterior does get finished. The courtyards, as well as the fountain areas, and the towers and everything, that all gets finished up in this episode. I had about 6 hours of footage that I had to kind of mull through, I guess, rifle through. I don't know. How would you say that? Did I say that right? Mull through it? I don't know. I know you mull over stuff. I don't know if that made sense. Anyway, though, yeah, I had about 6 hours of footage, so I just kind of had to shorten that to about, I think, what does it come out to, about 30 minutes? Yeah, something like that. So I did have a lot of footage. This took me a lot of time, and I did follow the pictures of the castle that's in Disney World. So it's pretty similar to the castle, I think, anyway, but I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, because it's just, I mean, it's really difficult to build something, an exact replica of something in The Sims 4. I don't know how some people get stuff looking as perfect as they do sometimes. Probably because they have far more patience than I do. But I mean, I spent 6 hours on this. You would think I have plenty of patience. But yeah, I mean, you could probably go through the debug menu and find some items that would help make the towers look a little bit more round instead of like, what would those be? Hexagons? I think. I don't know. I didn't count the points. I know how geometry works, but I'm too lazy. Anyway, so we did dig down into the like basement. So I used the basement tool to lower the floor just a little bit so that the towers could be taller, because you can only build 4 floors up above ground in The Sims 4. So hopefully that'll change soon. Maybe not soon, but one day. Hopefully that will change one day so that we can actually build a little bit taller at least. I mean, I can understand why they would have a problem with doing that, because you'll see probably later that even while I'm building this, it only goes down, well, it goes down to 1 level for right now, and then I have the rooms in the basement level, but then I don't have rooms in the floor below, but the towers will reach down further here in just a little while. So I can understand that graphics wise. I mean, it makes the game lag whenever you build buildings this big, so it's kind of almost impossible to play with them. So I don't know that I would ever play with this lot. I have played with castles before, not very much, but just downloaded them off the gallery and, you know, seen what I could do with them and put princes in them and whatever. That was before I started recording and putting up my own videos and my own lots on the gallery. So this lot is not on yet, and probably won't be until I get the next part out. So although I will be finished with it, I think I'm going to wait to release it the same day that I release the interior build. So you will see that then, and it shouldn't take me too much longer. I probably will work on it tomorrow, which will be, you know, days before this is ever published. But I'll be working on the interior within the, you know, few days after I have done this build. So it'll be out pretty quickly. I'm not taking the time like I did with Crimson Manor, and I think that it actually turned out way better than Crimson Manor. I can tell it's like a world of difference, because I actually sat down and did this all in one sitting and really paid attention to the pictures and really focused on what I wanted it to look like and what I wanted to come of this build. So just sitting down and doing that helped so much. You know, I didn't get too distracted. I knew this is what I was going to do yesterday when I got back from class. I had planned it out in my head already, what I had wanted, and I had already taken screenshots of the castle at Disney World, and, you know, hopefully you guys think that it does match up pretty well. I mean, it's pretty close. I asked my mom to come check it out yesterday, and she knew what it was before I even told her, so hopefully you guys will feel the same. I did have a little bit of trouble, I guess, trying to figure out how I was going to make it look tall enough. And you can see, you know, you have the gateway there in the front and like the walkway. So I dug down a little deeper, and I didn't want to do rocks again like I did in Crimson Manor, because it takes so long to do those rocks. It took way too long. It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done, and I probably won't do another build like that for a while. I do have another build in mind, though, that is going to require me doing something similar, but I'm going to put that off for a little while anyway. I don't know. I might be able to get away with sizing them up a bit more in that build, but instead of doing that for this build, I'd put in pools around the sides like a moat. Sorry about that. I had to take a break for just a moment. I was telling my mom there is never any motorcycles or any big trucks or big vehicles that decide to drive by our house until I decide to start recording. So I had to stop just because I know you could hear the motorcycle revving its engine there for just a second. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Anyway, I think I was talking about the moat and the fact that I didn't want to have to do all the rocks again like I did in Crimson Manor. So yeah, I do have courtyards down there around where the fountain area is. So it is kind of a little weird. I mean, it does look like it just drops down into the ground. Hopefully, you know, it looks kind of like maybe they built it that way, like a fortress. That's kind of what I was going for. The stone that does end up being the wall of the castle, or most of the wall of the castle, because I do put white on the castle up closer to the top, just because that's what it does. Like, that's what the Cinderella castle looks like in Disney World. But the walls of the what would actually be the basement level are the same stone as the castle. So hopefully it looks kind of like it was built that way, and built sunk down into the ground as kind of, you know, a mechanism of keeping it like a fortress, you know, and safe, because it is a castle. The roof I did have a little trouble with, and you'll see that whenever we get up to the very top. I think I may have cut portions of that out, though, because like I said, 6 hours of video is a long freaking time to work on one build, and just the exterior of the build. And I would sit there and I would be looking at it and I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm done with the exterior. And then I would be like, oh no, wait, there's something else that I probably should do. And then I'd have to sit and fix that. So you will see me go through, and I mean, you've seen it skip around quite a bit. I know you didn't see a lot of the building of the towers, and a lot of that was copy and paste. I love the new copy room tool that they put in. I think it was just in a few updates ago is when they added it, but it's been really helpful, as well as the copy roof tool. Use that a lot too. So the towers are pretty repetitive, and you know, I was just following the pictures, or trying to at least. There's a back portion of the castle that has a lot of these big windows and like a landing area where stairs are, and I wanted to kind of try to make it look like there was something similar. So I did put in a lot of windows back here in the back, and that kind of jut out from the back of the building. So hopefully it looks like what I wanted it to look like. I'm pretty happy with it, though. I think this is probably the most magnificent thing I've ever built on The Sims 4. You know, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very proud of it. And, you know, next week I'll probably think to myself, it wasn't that good. Could have been better. But, you know, that's just how it goes. You know, hopefully I will continue to get better, and hopefully I will continue to be able to do big builds like this. I really enjoy doing them. And I mean, it's like there's like a sense of accomplishment whenever you do, and whenever you finish it, and whenever it looks like what you really imagined it looking like. And you'll see I got pretty creative with the courtyard areas, especially using some of the hedges that I don't really use. Like there's like a square hedge that I use to kind of build up this kind of like sculpture type looking, I don't know, flower. I don't even know what you would call it. It's just like where the hedges are, and it looks really super nice. It looks like it would be at a castle. So you'll see that later, though. I think I used a lot of the vampire items, actually. And I think they really helped to make this place look so regal. The railing on most of the castle, I about said house. It's definitely not a house. It's a castle. The railing on most of the castle is from the vampire expansion pack, or game pack. Sorry, it's not an expansion pack. Game pack. What's the difference, really? I mean, other than it just there being way more stuff in an expansion pack. Anyway, the vampire game pack is where the railing came from, and some of those hanging items that I know you saw me place that look kind of like windows. They're not really windows, they just look like windows. The railing, though, has this like almost, I don't know, maybe rose gold kind of look to it. But it looks super good because, I mean, Cinderella's castle in Disney World does have like those little gold touches here and there. And I think it makes it look super nice. It makes, I keep saying super a whole lot. Super, super, super. It's just fantastic. Anyway, see, this is where I was having a little trouble with the roof, trying to make it look like what I wanted it to look like. And I thought about using that item again, but I thought, no, you know, we already have that one really tall, skinny tower. Maybe that's good enough. So you'll see me add a little bit more room to the front, I think, here in just a few minutes. And I also added this, like, I don't know what it would be called, but you see them on castles a lot, especially like Scottish looking castles or Irish castles, maybe castles over in that, you know, vicinity, where they have like the tops of the, oh, I left a save in there. Oops, I usually cut those out anyway. You guys seen that? That's embarrassing. Oh well, I have to leave it in because I've already edited a whole bunch of stuff, and I would normally go back in and take it out, but it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, the roofing, it does that little, like, it goes up and then down and then up and then down, if you know what I mean. You can see it right there. And I thought it looked pretty good. I just used the half walls to mimic that. And then I used some more of the vampire items here at the top. Some gargoyles, I guess, which kind of makes sense, right? Surely. They're white. I mean, you can't really, it's not like they're really super black gothic, you know, gargoyles. They look pretty good. And I used some more of those windows too. And we'll move them around a couple of different times so they won't stay there. They'll look a little bit different in the end. No screenshots at the end, by the way, which, I mean, obviously, I didn't finish the build yet, so I always put the screenshots up at the end when I'm completely finished, not whenever I'm, like, halfway like this. So I also use the vampire fencing there, that really fancy Victorian fencing. I love it. It's my favorite. Only problem was that when I tried to use the gate that went with it, it didn't quite fit there in the front. I hate having to try to match a doorway, like a gateway that's 3 wide, and then like another object that's like 2 or 4 wide, because it gets really confusing. It doesn't look right. Never does. I just used some blue tiling there at the bottom of the, well, it's really a pool, but it's supposed to be a fountain, just to make it look a little bluer. And we will change the pool water to the really clear crystal blue. There are no windows in the basement yet, but I was thinking that the ballroom might end up in the basement, so I probably will end up putting windows down beside where, kind of, you see where the stairs go down in the very back there. I think I might put windows there beside them, so we'll see about that whenever I get to the interior building. I just feel like a ballroom should have windows just for some reason. I mean, I'm probably going to do the ballroom like you would think, like a yellow. I think that's what it is in the cartoon movie. This isn't really built based on the live action film that just came out like last year. I think Hatsy did a build that was like the live action Cinderella castle. So I would suggest checking that out. I think I watched a part of it. She does those really, really fantastic, amazing big builds that I would never have the patience to do them as well as she does them. She's great though. Big inspiration as for me, like starting my own channel. But yeah, I'm gonna do the interior more like the interior of the castle in the cartoon version. And, you know, you don't see a whole lot of the interior in Cinderella, like the regular movie Cinderella, but then Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, I don't know if you've ever seen it, because I mean a lot of people haven't even ever heard of it, but it is one of my favorite movies, and it came out probably in the mid 2000s, I want to say, when I was in middle school. And it's like the idea behind it is that the fairy godmother, somehow her wand gets taken by the evil stepmother, and then when it's taken, it is used to help Anastasia become the princess, I guess. So the prince gets kind of tricked into falling in love with Anastasia, It's really good. It's super good, actually. Super. I'm gonna keep saying super. This is a super video. Anyway, it's pretty good. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest watching it. If you like Cinderella, that is. I mean, if you're a guy and you're not really into it, I wouldn't suggest it. But for girls, I mean, it's pretty good. Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. Yeah. It's, not sponsoring this video or anything. I wish, but, yeah, it's good anyway. The interior, though, like I was saying, I'm probably going to use that movie for a lot of it, like to decide what I'm going to do with it. Because there is a lot of the interior of the castle shown in that movie. I guess mainly because, I mean, it takes place whenever, it's like after he's done the whole shoe thing, and they have tricked him into believing that Anastasia is the girl that fits the shoe. So they get moved into the castle, except for Cinderella. She doesn't. I think the stepmother tells her something along the lines of, I don't care what you do, just leave. Like, just get out. Just don't even come anywhere near us. So Cinderella, is not invited to the castle, even though she's the one that fell in love with the prince, or the prince fell in love with her and not Anastasia. So she doesn't even get to live there, but Anastasia and Drizella and the stepmother do. And so they do have a lot of scenes in the castle showing where they're planning the wedding. And I know it's kind of confusing. Like, you can't understand, he knows that he didn't dance with Anastasia, so how would he, be tricked into that? I mean, it has to do with the magic wand and stuff. You just have to watch it. Speaking of the movie, though, or, some of the movies, there are multiple movies. There's a part 1 and a part 2 and a part 3, I guess. And then there's all the variations of Cinderella. Part 2, I think, is like multiple different stories, like in one movie. Cinderella 2, it's like it's got like where Anastasia falls in love with the baker, and all this kind of other backstory type stuff, or maybe not backstory. Some of it's after, I think, after she meets the prince, or maybe all of it is. I'm not really sure. So it's not one long story like the first or the third. It's like multiple short stories about Cinderella and about her friends. But, time is a big, like, concept in the movie, I guess. Does that make sense? Having clocks around is pretty important. So I do have the one big clock there in the front. And I got to thinking about it earlier today, and I was thinking maybe I should add some more clocks. And I'm pretty sure there is an item, like a clock item that stands up. I'm not sure how tall it is, though. That might be a problem. But I think I'm going to put some more of those out in like the courtyard areas. So I got to thinking about that earlier today, and I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna do. The throne room is something that I've been trying to decide what exactly I'm gonna do with it, and if you guys have any ideas, please let me know, because I'm not really sure yet. The ballroom, I have some ideas, and the kitchen and some of the other areas, the bedrooms, I've got ideas for, but the throne room is something that I'm just not really sure. For one thing, I'm not sure where I'm going to put it. For another, I'm just not sure how it's going to look. Maybe it should go in the basement as well, like where with the ballroom, or close to the ballroom anyway. I'll try to figure that out later on. This video probably will go out after I've already recorded the next part anyway, so you feel free to leave any suggestions that you feel, but I may not be able to see any of that before I do the building of the actual ballroom and the throne room. So I'm thinking I might do the ballroom in the middle area, and then the throne room back in the back where I said those windows were going to be. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. I don't know what I'm gonna do quite yet. But we'll see. Anyway, we have started the courtyard, which I love this area, and even the one on the other side. So I do include a maze. You will see a maze. There's a maze in this one. I do use the wishing well. I use a lot of the fountain items. I tried to make it look really as grand as I could without it being too much. So I did, leave grass in some areas, and then put the tile down in some areas, to make it look like a walkway. Just not even pronounce the K's in my, whatever. Okay, anyway, I did try to make it look as grand as I possibly could. So there's, the grass and the courtyard, you know, marble. Well, what was that, stone? Yeah. I use the same stone in most of the exterior of the castle there. I think marble is what I'm going to use on the interior. This is where I said I was doing that weird hedge thing, and you'll see me, like, I mean, it looks dumb right now because I just have these hedges, like, on top of nothing. So I will use those square hedges here in just a second. I was trying to figure out a good way to fill it in, but that just wasn't working, so we'll see in just a second. Start using these square hedges that I believe are from the base game. That's what it looks like, yeah. They're just base game hedges that you know, you can use to scoot up and kind of fill in that space to make it look like this is all one big hedge. And I do that multiple times in this build. I use a lot of those hedges to make big, like, greenery type sculptures. I don't know. What is that called? Is it called something like, I don't know. I want to say foliage, but that I feel like foliage is more like something that's less kept up. That's more something untamed. I don't know. But anyway, I thought it looked really nice. And I added some of those pink flowers. I did want it to be very colorful. You know, a lot of pink roses and stuff. I don't think I used red roses. I tried to keep the colors pretty much the same. I did use pinks and purples and blues, I believe. I don't think any yellows. I'm trying to remember. I tried to keep it pretty close to the same, like, just really pretty light colors. I think some of the darker purples get put around that middle fountain there, and I think that fountain is from the Romantic Garden stuff, and I believe that's the fountain you can put bubbles in and play in. So that fountain you can actually do stuff with. It's like an activity that you can do. This item here, or the one that I put up just a second ago, the archway, is not a wedding arch, but I wish it was. And I've tried to layer up before wedding arches with it, and I'm not sure if it works. I'll need to try it again. I can't even remember. But it would look really cool as a wedding arch. So here I'm just putting some more greenery around the fountain, and I'm using some of those statues from the Romantic Gardens pack. And I did use a lot of the Romantic Garden stuff here. I mean, that even sounds good. The Romantic Gardens of the, you know, Cinderella castle. It's perfect. I did use a lot of lights as well in this build, especially on the outside. I wanted this place to glow at night. So I don't know if I show. I know I don't show all of the lights that I put in, actually, but I'm not sure if I put in, or if I show any shots at night when I was putting in the lights. Because, I mean, it looks fantastic. I'll be sure to take screenshots at the very end next time whenever I'm doing the interior. I'm going to take screenshots, of course, of the outside as well. So we'll be able to see the nighttime, probably, some screenshots just to show, like, how nice it is, how beautiful and pretty and bright it is. I mean, for it to be night especially. I really wanted it to glow. I imagine that it would. I did use some more, I wanted there to be flowers and stuff everywhere. I wanted it to really look like a courtyard, so I went all out. I definitely, you know, got as creative as I could. You'll see me do some more of those, like, hedge sculpture building things as well. There's even one that I put a fountain on top of, and, I mean, I don't know how realistic that is. Maybe it's just a really tall fountain that actually reaches to the bottom. But, I mean, realistically, you couldn't sit a fountain on a hedge. It would crush it. But, you know, whatever. It's The Sims 4. It doesn't really matter. Here we are again. I just wanted to show, you know, how to do that if you ever wanted to copy it, you know, and do it yourself. It's pretty easy. I mean, I use the fencing, like the hedge fencing, and then I just use those square hedges just to kind of build it up and make it look like one big hedge, like all put together. It took some time, you know, and it was worth it, though. Obviously, this whole build took quite a lot of time, just, you know, to make sure everything was kind of perfect. I really wanted it to be, and I want to do the same for the interior, so, you know, I'm going to try to take my time with it as well. Hopefully, it won't take 6 hours again. I think, really, I mean, it took that long because obviously I had to figure out how to get the towers right, and there was actually about 20 minutes of footage that I had to cut out, even not counting the 6 hours that I actually was doing everything correctly. I took about 20 minutes to try to figure out exactly what the towers were going to look like, and the first couple of towers that I built were awful. They were just crap. So I had to kind of come at it at a different angle, and I mean, it turned out pretty good. This is the maze I was talking about, which is pretty cool. It's got the wishing well there at the end, and you'll see that here in just a moment. Yeah. So it's got a couple of little destination points. It's got a chess table in there and some more of that greenery I was talking about. Then another courtyard just outside of the maze, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm trying to keep it as traditional as possible. You know, I don't want to use any items that are going to make it look like this isn't the correct era for Cinderella. I want to, you know, so there's not going to be any computers or televisions or televisions. That was weird. Televisions, TVs, whatever. I think I started to say both at the same time. There's not going to be any TVs in this build, or, you know, any other, you know, modern items, really. I want to keep it as traditional as I possibly can. So I'm probably going to use a lot of the base game items and vintage glamour and vampire stuff. Probably some of the, what is it, like parties? What was the party stuff? Like glamour party stuff or something like that? Luxury party stuff? Luxury party stuff, that's what it was. I'm going to use that probably. I mean, I'll use items from all the packs, but you will be able to tell that I'm going to be relying heavily on some of them more than others. So you did see me place that fountain there on top of that hedge. That was what I was talking about. And then up here we've just got another bit of a courtyard, which we'll put another fountain out here and some more sitting areas. And then I think that's when I decided to start putting the lights around the place. So we'll light it all up, and then that'll be the end. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch this video. I know it was a long one, and I really hope you check out the next one as well. I'll be keeping an eye out for it, the next part. If you have any suggestions, though, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon.